The Middle East is on fire! Egypt has just issued a shocking threat to strike Israel, and now talk of an Arab military bloc is spreading like wildfire. Could we be on the brink of a regional war? Stay tuned, because we're breaking it all down for you right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are covering one of the most explosive developments in the Middle East in years, and it could change the entire balance of power in the region. Egypt, a major Arab nation with one of the strongest militaries in the Arab world, has publicly threatened to attack Israel if certain red lines are crossed. And that statement has sent shockwaves across the globe. This is not a small warning or diplomatic protest. This is a direct message that Egypt is willing to use force, and it comes at a time when tensions are already running dangerously high. At the same time, talk of forming a united Arab military bloc, something that has been discussed for decades but never truly realized, is gaining new momentum. Could this be the moment when Arab nations actually come together to create a powerful joint force? Could this be the spark that ignites a regional conflict on a scale we haven't seen in decades? In this video, we'll explore exactly what Egypt said, why this is happening right now, how other Arab countries are reacting, what this means for Israel, and most importantly, whether the Middle East is heading toward an unprecedented war. This is going to be an in-depth analysis, so stay with me until the very end, because every detail matters in understanding where this situation might be heading. Egypt's threat didn't come out of nowhere. For years, Cairo has tried to play the role of mediator between Israel and the Palestinians, often hosting negotiations and pushing for ceasefires. But this time, things are different. The recent escalation in Gaza, with Israeli airstrikes, heavy bombardments, and rising civilian casualties, has put enormous pressure on Egypt's leadership. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi has stated clearly that if Israel launches a massive ground operation in Gaza or crosses certain humanitarian red lines, Egypt will not stand by and watch. He warned that continued aggression could lead to grave consequences, language that many experts interpret as a military threat. Remember, Egypt shares a border with Gaza and has major security interests there. It does not want instability spilling into its territory, nor does it want millions of Palestinians displaced toward its borders. Egypt's military is no small player either. It has over 400,000 active personnel, one of the largest tank fleets in the region, a modern air force with American-made F-16s and French Rafales, and a navy that controls key access points like the Suez Canal. If Egypt actually carried out a military strike, it would be a game-changing moment. It could open a new front against Israel and force the Israeli military to divide its forces, dramatically increasing pressure on Tel Aviv. This is why Egypt's statement is being taken so seriously both in Israel and in international capitals around the world. Egypt's warning has not gone unnoticed in the wider Arab world. Across the region, leaders are issuing statements, holding emergency meetings, and quietly exploring whether this is the time to act collectively. Saudi Arabia has already condemned Israel's actions in Gaza and called for international intervention, while Jordan has warned that the situation is unsustainable and could destabilize the entire region. The UAE, which signed the Abraham Accords with Israel just a few years ago, is now under immense domestic pressure to reconsider its cooperation with Tel Aviv. We are seeing a rare moment where multiple Arab capitals, Riyadh, Amman, Abu Dhabi, Doha, are aligning in tone, even if not yet in action. Analysts are now openly talking about the revival of an old idea, a unified Arab military force. This concept has been proposed many times before, most notably after the Arab League discussed forming a joint military command. Idea was shelved due to disagreements over leadership, funding, and political priorities. But the current crisis could be the catalyst that finally makes it happen. If Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, and other key nations agree to form a coalition, the combined force would be massive, potentially hundreds of thousands of troops, thousands of tanks, a powerful air fleet, and shared intelligence resources. Such a move would be a direct challenge to Israel and could completely change the strategic equation in the Middle East. The idea of an Arab military bloc is not new, but it has always faced enormous obstacles. Different Arab nations have different priorities, rivalries, and foreign alliances. But war has a way of changing political calculations very quickly. The last time we saw a major unified Arab effort against Israel was during the Yom Kippur War in 1973, when Egypt and Syria launched a coordinated surprise attack. Initially, they achieved stunning battlefield success, overwhelming Israeli defenses and capturing territory. But as we know, Israel eventually pushed back, largely thanks to U.S. resupply and intelligence support. Fast forward to today, Arab nations are much better equipped with advanced weaponry purchased from the United States, France, and even Russia. Their air forces have been modernized with cutting-edge jets, drones, and precision-guided munitions. Joint military exercises have also improved coordination between these countries. If such a coalition were to materialize now, it could pose a far greater challenge to Israel than in previous wars. However, this would not be an easy decision. War would carry immense risks, including possible retaliation on Arab capitals, economic collapse, and potential intervention by global powers. That is why many believe this threat of a bloc might be more of a political warning, a pressure tactic to make Israel stop its operations, rather than an immediate war plan. Still, the fact that Arab leaders are even considering it shows how serious the situation has become. The United States is watching this crisis very closely. Washington has always been Israel's closest ally and has provided billions in military aid each year to maintain its qualitative edge in the region. But the Biden administration now finds itself in a very difficult position. On one hand, it has reaffirmed Israel's right to self-defense, but on the other, it is urging restraint to avoid a wider war. A direct confrontation between Israel and an Arab coalition would be catastrophic for U.S. interests. It could threaten global oil supplies, raise energy prices, and destabilize key partners in the region. American troops are still stationed in Iraq, Syria, and other bases across the Middle East. They could quickly be dragged into the conflict if things spiral out of control. Beyond that, Washington is aware that Russia and China are watching closely. Moscow could exploit this crisis to boost its influence with Arab states, especially Egypt, which already buys Russian weapons. China, too, would see an opportunity to position itself as a neutral mediator while expanding its economic footprint. This is why U.S. diplomats are working around the clock, speaking to both Israel and Arab capitals, trying to prevent an uncontrollable escalation. The U.S. goal is to de-escalate before the situation reaches a point of no return, but with every passing day and every new airstrike, the risk of war grows.